Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back on my series of stories from the Puranas. In our last video, we saw how Lord Kartikeya destroyed the great demon Tarakasur, and the mission was accomplished by the gods, who brought Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati together. They had a son, and because of the boon given by Lord Brahma that only Shiva's son could kill Tarakasur, Shiva and Parvati had a son named Lord Kartikeya, who eventually killed Tarakasur. Now, today we'll be talking about another demon whose name is mentioned in the Puranas as the demon Tripurasura. Now, Tripurasura was not a single demon. He was a collective demon of three demons named as Vidyanumali, Tarakaksha, and Viryavana. So these are the three demons who are collectively known as the demon Tripurasura. And there's a story why they are known collectively as the demon Tripurasura. So after the great demon Tarakasur was killed by Lord Kartikeya, he had three sons, and the sons were named as, or were called as, Vidyanumali, Tarakaksha, and Viryavana. These are the three sons of the demon Tarakasur, who was killed by Lord Kartikeya. And when they came to know that their father was killed, they followed the same route which their father had adopted, which their father demon Tarakasur had adopted. And what was their route? That route was to perform meditation, tapasya, so that they could also get boons from Lord Brahma, and they could also become as powerful as their father. So these three sons of the demon Tarakasur began to perform tapasya, and for 100 years they meditated standing only on one leg. For 1,000 more years they lived just on air and did tapasya and meditation. They stood on their heads with their feet up, or their legs pointing upwards, and meditated in this posture for another 1,000 years. Now, as per the nature of Lord Brahma, he had to get pleased. So he was pleased by the difficult tapasya or meditation, or penances or austerities, as you may call it. He had to appear before them, which he did. He appeared before them and asked, "What boon do you want?" So Tarakasura's sons, Vidyanumali, Tarakaksha, and Viryavana asked, or actually asked for the boon from Lord Brahma. And they said, "Please make us immortal so that nobody can kill us." And Lord Brahma says, "Well, this is against the laws of nature, so I cannot make you immortal. I do not have the power to make you immortal. Please ask for something else instead." And then the three sons of Tarakasura asked for another unique boon. And this is what they asked. They asked that let 3 forts be made. The first fort will be made of gold, the second fort will be made of silver, and the third fort will be made of iron. And 3 of us are going to live in these forts for 1,000 years. And after this 1,000 years ends, the forts should become one fort. So from these 3 forts, it would become one fort. And the combined fort should be called Tripura. And this fort could only be destroyed with one single arrow, and that one single arrow, when it destroys the fort, will mean that it'll be death for all three of us. So this was a very unique boon, that they wanted to live in these three separate forts made of gold, silver, and iron, and then after 1,000 years these forts would be united, and this fort could only be destroyed by one single arrow, and only then they could die through this single arrow, which would destroy the fort. Now the fort is going to be called Tripura. They asked for that. So this is how the word Tripurasura came into existence. Means it's Asura means a demon, and Tripura was the name. And when you join Tripura and Asura as one word, it becomes Tripurasura. So it's actually one word which denotes a demon. However, this was not one single demon. This was a fort called demon, which could be destroyed by one single arrow, and which would mean death for all the three sons of demon Tarakasura, who asked for this boon. And these sons were called Viyunamali, Tarakaksha, and Virdevana. Actually, the name was Vidyanamali, Taraksha, and Virevana. These are the three names of the sons of demon Tarakasur. So this was, like I said, a very unusual boon. However, Lord Brahma granted because he was pleased by their penances and meditation. And there was another demon called Maya who was very good at building and construction. So Lord Brahma asked him to build the forts, the three forts. The golden fort was built in heaven. The silver fort was built in the sky. And the iron fort was built on earth. And Tarakshaka, the middle son, got the golden fort. Viryavana got the silver fort. And Vidyanamali got the iron fort. So these were the three forts given to these three sons of demon Tarakasur. And each of these forts were as big as a large city and had many palaces and many Vimanas. Now Vimanas are nothing but spacecrafts or aircraft, whatever you could call them. So yes, the Puranas do mention that we did have access to that technology of flying in the air. So this is confirmed through the Puranas here. And of course, if you look at the story of Ramayana, the demon king Ravana also had a flying saucer or an aircraft, whatever you may call it. So it was accessible to important people even in the old ages. So once they got these three forts, once these three sons of Tarakasur got these three forts, they populated these three forts and began to enjoy and live with them and flourish. And the gods, of course, were not happy. And they went to Lord Brahma asking them what's going on, Lord Brahma. But Brahma said, well, he cannot help them because a boon has been given to them. And after 1,000 years, these three forts will be united. It'll become Tripura, and only one arrow can destroy this fort called Tripura, which would mean death for all these three sons. So Brahma said, I'm helpless. I've already given this boon. So the gods then went to Lord Shiva for help. But then Shiva asked the gods, well, why do you want to destroy these demons? They've not done anything wrong. It's not as if, like their father, they drove you out of the heavens or they created havoc in the three worlds. Why should I destroy these three demons? Or actually a collective demon which is called as Tripurasura, which was nothing but a fortress, or a fort rather. So Lord Shiva reasoned with the gods that why should they be so disturbed and worried or concerned about these three demons. Then the gods could not convince Lord Shiva, so they went to Lord Vishnu. And of course we know that Lord Vishnu does not like demons at all. So they went to Lord Vishnu, and this is what Vishnu suggested. He said, if the problem is that the demons If the real problem is that these three demons are doing nothing wrong, the solution is that create a situation where they start to do wrong, and they become sinners. So that's what Lord Vishnu suggested to the gods. Try to do something where these three demons become sinners, so that Lord Shiva can be convinced to destroy them. And this is what Lord Vishnu did. Through his powers, Lord Vishnu created a man. This man's head was shaven, his clothes were faded, and he carried a wooden pot, a wooden water pot in his hands. And he covered his mouth with a piece of cloth, and he went to Lord Vishnu, his creator, and asked Lord Vishnu, "What are my orders?" So Lord Vishnu explained that man who he just created out of his powers, he said, "Let me explain you why I have created you. I am going to teach you a religion that is completely against the Vedas. And then you will then get the impression that there's no heaven and there's no hell. And both heaven and hell are on earth." So here is a little pointer here for people who are even living in today's day and age, who say that they do not believe in the existence of heaven and hell. So there's something to ponder on. So this is what Lord Vishnu said: create a religion against the Vedas, that the religion should teach that there is no heaven or hell. Because the Vedas believe that there is a heaven and there is a hell. It is not on earth. That's what the Vedas believe in. So this is coming directly from the Puranas, so please make a little note of it. Extremely important. So that man did whatever he had been asked to. He and his 4 disciples went to a forest which was near Tripura, the fourth Tripura, and started to preach people a new religion. And this religion was taught by Lord Vishnu himself. And these teachings were so convincing that they got many people to convert into this new religion, which was completely against the Vedas. So that was the plan of Lord Vishnu. And as a matter of fact, the Puranas mentioned that even it was so convincing that even Sage Narada, who actually is the Rishi or the sage of the Devatas, Deva Rishi, he got confused and he converted as well. Isn't that surprising? Anyways, Sage Narada, who had himself converted into this new religion, he carried the news of this great new religion to King Vidyanumati, who was one of the sons of Tarakasur. And he said that there is a wonderful new teacher with a great new religion, and I've gotten converted myself. And since the great sage Narada had gotten converted, Vidyanumati, the son of Tarakasur, also accepted the new religion. And his brothers, in due course, his brothers Tarakaksha and Viryavana, the 2 brothers, also converted. And this is what happens. The demons gave up the Vedas completely, and they stopped worshipping Shiva's linga. And that was the plan of Lord Vishnu. So then, after these 3 demons stopped worshipping Shiva's lingas, after these 3 demons, the sons of Tarakasur, who were living collectively in this fort called Tripura, stopped following the Vedas, then Lord Vishnu and the other gods got an opportunity, and they went to Lord Shiva and began to pray to him. And when Shiva appeared, they told, well, the demons, we have a reason now to destroy the demons, because they become evil. They do not follow the Vedas. They have stopped worshipping the Shiva lingas as well. And on hearing this, Shiva agreed, and he said, okay, I am going to destroy Tripura. And destroying Tripura, the fourth, means, once again, recapping it, that destroying Tripura, the fourth, meant destruction or death for these three demons who were living collectively in this one fort now. So, Lord Shiva called Vishwakarma, and Vishwakarma is the architect of the gods. So God Vishwakarma is the architect of the gods. Shiva summoned him and asked him to make a suitable chariot, a bow and arrow. Why a bow and arrow? Because as per the boon given by Lord Brahma, only a single arrow could destroy Tripura, the fourth Tripura. The chariot which God Vishwakarma created was made entirely out of gold. Lord Brahma himself became the charioteer. The boon giver himself became the charioteer of the chariot which was going to be used to destroy Tripura, and ultimately, because of destruction of Tripura, destruction or death for these three brothers. And the chariot speedily drove towards the fourth Tripura. And the gods also accompanied Lord Shiva with all kinds of different weapons. And Tripura, of course, after 1,000 years, because these three brothers lived separately in these three forts, and then these three forts had become one after 1,000 years, were there. And Lord Shiva, once he reached the fourth Tripura, put in a divine weapon into his arrow, and this weapon was called Pashupata, and then shot at the fourth Tripura. The arrow burnt up the fourth Tripura into ashes in 1 second, actually in a split second. And that was the end of the three demons, the three brother demons, sons of the demon, the great demon Tripurasura. Tarakasura, I'm sorry. These are the three sons of Tarakasura. And then there were great celebrations. And then the shaven head religious teachers who had actually started this new religion, which was completely against the Vedas, they appeared and they asked Lord Vishnu, what are we supposed to do now? And Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu then asked them to go and live in the desert. And their purpose would be that once Kali Yuga, the dark age of Kali, starts, evil would be very powerful. It would reign supreme. And when Kali Yuga arrived, they were to come back in Kali Yuga and begin to teach people afresh. Begin to teach people that no, do not follow the Vedas. They should begin in Kali Yuga to teach people that there's no heaven and there's no hell, and the only place where a person can reap benefits of his good deeds and bad deeds are the earth. So everything was to be taught which was against the teachings of the Vedas. So that was their purpose. Until then, they were supposed to stay in the desert until Kali Yuga arrived. So a lot of indications through this video, a lot of understanding through this video can be made as to what's happening in this today's Kali Yuga, today's day and age. What kind of new religions are appearing in today's day and age? Does it have a connection with those 4 shaven head religious teachers whom Lord Vishnu had created to confuse people, or actually confuse the 3 sons of Tarakasura so that they could start sinning and stop following the Vedas? Is there a connection there? So that's something which we have to ponder on. And but then this is the little story of how Tripurasura was destroyed. Tripura, once again, was not an asura. It was a combination of the 3 forts, which was destroyed by one single arrow shot by Lord Shiva, which ultimately killed the 3 demon sons of the demon Tarakasura. And that's how the story ends. And once again, this is coming directly from the Puranas. This is not fiction. So I will recommend, please have firm faith and believe and keep listening. In the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel, check out my website, and I will see you with my series on stories from the Puranas very soon. Goodbye.